Texans fans, look,
Uh,
I got you protected here. No one's gonna come in here and whip you, knowing that you're a Dallas Cowboy fan.
shoot, I've been pretty much a Dallas Cowboys fan since birth. I mean, my whole family, we're from Houston area, like 30 minutes south. So, like my grandpa, my papa, that's what I call him, been a Cowboys fan his whole life. So my mom, same thing. And then I have like a couple of family members that Texans fans, like my aunt, well, both of my aunts. But I don't know, it's just been, I don't know, put into me. I mean, I was only born in '02, so I haven't seen them win at the highest level.
Yeah,
But
you have not. You were born
yeah,
in '02.
yes, sir.
All right, so you have okay. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna have so much fun, AJ. So look, nobody in your family is in the witness protection program. You
Oh no.
have lived here in Houston this whole time, knowing that we have a team here called the Texans,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, the Cowboys. I mean, they've been here longer. And I'm telling you, that's what my papa love. I know my great grandpa, his dad, used to like the Cowboys, but I think he didn't like Jerry Jones, so he's a Raiders fan now. So,
Okay,
yeah,
so he just bailed out altogether, right?
yeah. Can't blame him though.
Well,
I
he wouldn't
mean,
be the only one that probably don't
yeah,
like
nah, definitely not.
Jerry Jones. Well, look, I have a lot of my friends that are Dallas Cowboy fans.
Hmm.
We pray for them all the time. You know,
We need it.
yeah, and we're gonna do the same for you too, AJ. But look
Thank you.
here, but look, man, you know the Texans. Now, I mean, the Texans. This team last year. We're gonna talk about this team
Mm.
all year long because the expectations for this team is high. They
Yeah.
were they were high last year, but man, what they accomplished last year was just amazing. And look, I tell you what, um, with the additions that they added on, we're going to talk about all of that stuff here. So just to give you an idea of some of the things we're going to be talking about here in this first hour, of course, is the Texans Bears game. Preseason football started, the Hall of Fame game, which kicked off on Thursday night. We'll talk about that a little bit. Not the greatest Hall of Fame football opener due to all of that bad weather that they had. But nevertheless, it was just, if you were waiting for football, if you're a football junkie like myself, just to see any live football on TV was just great to see. So we're talking about that. Also, the Pro Football Hall of Fame this weekend, yesterday, if you had a chance to watch any of those enshrinement speeches, which is always just a great thing to watch. I've been part of several Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, enshrinement ceremonies, and I tell you what, if you've never been to Canton, Ohio, you really need to go because it's something that you should put on your bucket list. Try to get there. So later in the show, probably in the bottom hour, we're going to talk with my great friend, CBSSports.com reporter Brian DiArdo is going to join me, and Brian actually at one of the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies a couple of years ago, so he's going to join us. But anyway, it's going to be a great show. So now look, something new with the Mean Gene Show, and some of my listeners, like if you've never seen me, I guess we are actually on YouTube.com, ESPN Houston. So hey, that's a good thing, and you can also interact with us on Twitch, and that's also a good thing. And I can give you those sites. There's youtube.com/@ ESPN Houston if you haven't already found that. And as far as the Twitch, it's www.twitch.tv/ESPN975.com. So look, I will probably take some callers. I don't know, maybe in the second hour, maybe even this first hour. I don't know, but anyway, I'm gonna give you the phone number if you want to chime in. Want to talk about the Texans? Want to talk about what you saw yesterday in the Hall of Fame ceremonies, which included one Andre Johnson, which I would definitely be talking about here pretty soon. And just Andre's gonna get his whole segment here on the Mean Gene Show because he deserves it. You guys know what he did for the Houston Texans. So 713-780-3776 is the number. Write that number down because it will be the number that you will always need to reach the Mean Gene Show. All right, so I got the Olympics on here, so it's a multitasking day up here in the studio. So we're just trying to keep up with what's happening with the Olympics in Paris. And I believe in the second hour, I would definitely give you a medal count and kind of let you know what's going on here. Watching Noah Lyles here, which is really, really, this guy's incredible. So, but anyway, we're gonna have a great show. And look, this is our first show. So look, over the next couple of weeks, we are going to talk everything NFL. We will talk a lot about the Houston Texans. And of course, they will have their second preseason game coming up here, I believe, next Thursday versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, AJ, okay, so I'm not just going to get on you about
Yes,
being
sir.
a Cowboy fan because because I actually I love the Steelers. Okay, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the Texans. Because see, you don't like the Texans, you like them.
I mean, I don't have a problem with them, but I mean, I don't want them to win over the Cowboys though. Obviously, like because when they won that playoff game last year and the Cowboys got embarrassed by Green Bay, that was bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. So,
Mm.
but I mean, look, a lot of us are transplants now. So you said you were born and raised here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So well, I'm a transplant. I used to live in Dallas. One reason why
Right.
I left Dallas was because we're Cowboys.
I figure. Yeah.
It's just not easy
Yeah.
not being a fan of the Dallas Cowboys and living in Dallas. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. Anyway, so no, but I do like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I know last year the Texans took care of the Steelers as they should. That this team is good. I am all on board with the Texans. I just want it to be known. I don't want to be in the witness protection program. I want these people to like me here
Right.
because I do like the Texans. Okay, and yeah, it's just going to be fun. So we'll talk about the season outlook here for this team, and like I said, the issues that they have on this team is just going to be
Hello.
remarkable. So we can kind of look at what happened here on Thursday night. So not the best Hall of Fame game, as I mentioned already. I mean, it was a horrible game, and look, of all the times that I have been to Canton, Ohio, it has never rained, it has never been delayed or anything like that. So watching it this weekend was just it was crazy because this storm comes in Thursday night. They were lucky to get 3 quarters of that game, and I knew it was going to be um, canceled. I'm a weather guy. Look, man, you tell me there's a storm coming, damn it, I'm getting ready for it. So
Yeah.
I'm always looking at the weather, and I saw that storm heading into Canton, and I'm like, there's just no way. And NFL always do a great job of getting people out of the stands. When there's lightning, that's just something we don't do, and we don't play with lightning. I think Ben Franklin did that, right? And got his ass zapped or something like that. So we don't play with lightning. Okay, so they got him out of there, and but let's talk about this game because I tell you what. Like I say, if you were just waiting to see some sort of football, it was just exciting. The Chicago Bears won 21 to 17, and look, the game was stopped in the third quarter. So Bears fans don't get all excited, all right, and Texans fans don't be disappointed because it was a 21-17 loss there. I mean, it was just really nothing to that. But I tell you what, Davis Mills, the Texans are just really set. Look, we're going to talk about C.J. Stroud a lot, but we also need to talk about Davis Mills, and we can talk about Case Keenum. I mean, look, this team has quarterbacks that have like those two quarterbacks have started. So it's just, I mean, how many teams are that deep at the quarterback position? They don't want anything to happen to C.J. Stroud, and but knowing that you have two starting backup quarterbacks, I think they have another quarterback on the roster too. So I don't know if they're going to carry more than three. But man, it's just a great position to be in if you're the Houston Texans. So anyway, Davis Mills had a hell of a game. 10 of 13, 102 yards, one touchdown. I don't know if quarterback ratings matter to you in the preseason, but to me, it does. 124.5, and it's just great. Just great. Now, Brett Rippon, who is on the Bears. Now, let's talk about Rippon. Rippon, I believe, is let me get this right. Uh, Mark Rippon used to play for the Washington
I believe
Nationals,
so.
uh, the Redskins.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I think so. Yes, sir.
So, but we're talking about Cal. Yeah. Is he?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So what does he? How's he related?
You said that again. My bad. It was
How's he related to Cal?
Cal. I
Yeah.
I think so. I'm not sure. Remember I was more 02, so I'm not too.
Well, I'll tell you what, the guy's
Uh huh.
good, and my point here is trying to just, we know that Williams is the guy. Okay, Caleb Williams is the guy in Chicago. Okay, and for the life of me, I don't know why he did not play in that game, and I know that the Bears are all in, but Brett Rippon came out there and did a hell of a job. 11 to 15, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 148 rating, which kind of makes me think, and I know it's early, the first preseason game, that he was that he's probably going to be your backup, your number two there. But we're going to talk a lot about the Bears too, because the Texans have a week 2 matchup versus the Chicago Bears, and that's going to be interesting because we will still see Caleb Williams and C.J. Stroud. So this is going to be remarkable. Okay, but nevertheless, so we're just trying to see who's going to be the backup quarterback for the Bears, and it's really hard to tell after one preseason game. But Brett Rippin did look good in this game. So did Cam Akers for the Texans. So just great stuff here. So I know we're going to get ready for a break, and I do believe when we come back, we're going to get more into the Pro Football Hall of Fame game and the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement. You are listening to the Mean Gene Show right here, 97.5 ESPN Houston.
You're listening to The Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
for the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
All right, we are back, folks. Once again, Mean Gene Show, 97.5 ESPN Houston. So look, okay, we're getting through some technical difficulties, meaning it's a preseason for the Mean Gene Show. All right, so now my mic is good now, right, guys? All right, good, because I don't want you guys to think I sound like Mike Tyson, because that is the farthest thing from the truth. All right, I have a very powerful voice, which they told me they were not able to hear me. So, folks, okay, hopefully you got me now. So, look, Pro Football Hall of Fame game on Thursday, the Texans and the Chicago Bears, the long anticipated just start of the NFL season. Okay, and this was not one of those games where I won't say it didn't matter, because every game matters. You try to tell these football coaches that it doesn't matter, and that is not the truth. Okay, they will take 90 plus guys out there, and these guys are trying to make the team. And any special tackle, any special run, anything you see like that, it's meaningful to the guys that are out there playing football, because they know when they trim this roster down to 53 or whatever, then they want to be part of that, or they want to be on the practice team. So these guys are going to go at it hard, and I'm one that will watch a lot of preseason football. Okay, and look, later on in the month, we're going to be getting into fantasy football, and I won a fantasy football league last year. AJ, you play fantasy football?
Yeah, yes, sir, I do. I've been playing the past few years. I won in 2021 when I was like a sophomore in college, but the last 2 years,
So you know
man.
something about
Oh
this
yeah, for
stuff.
sure, for
Well,
sure.
then that's good. See, now the league that I wanted to win, I didn't win, but I,
Mm.
you know how it is. So how many leagues do you join when you?
Last year I did two. So that was my first time doing multiple, but I think I'm gonna at least do two, maybe three, just depends, but something
Yeah,
like that.
because you know you're gonna suck in one or two of them, right? And you're
Yeah,
gonna be
sometimes.
competitive. And
Right.
you said sometimes you want to
Sometimes.
win them all.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, because I mean, there's depending on how people play. I mean, I play for a buy-in pretty much. I mean,
Okay,
so trying to reap those rewards sometimes,
I heard that. Now I do play in one for money, but the other two that I
just for
play
fun.
in are for fun. So, but I do watch the preseason because you just never know. You know you want to see who's going to make these rosters, okay? And then some of these guys you see in the preseason, they will not make the team, but they will quickly join another team. So don't give up on these guys. And these guys, like I said, are going to be going at it mighty hard. So just kind of looking at what the Texans have coming up next week is going to be really interesting. So do not make me pick sides here because it's week. It's week. I guess what week one or week two. I guess the Hall of Fame game does not necessarily count as week one of the preseason. I mean, it can, or maybe for the Texans it did. But anyway, next Friday, the Houston Texans are going to be in Pittsburgh, so this is going to be interesting because they take on the Steelers there, and we're going to see what's going to happen there. And like I said, the Steelers, man, it's been rough. It's been rough last couple of years for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the fans and myself alike. But here's the deal: um, what the Texans did to them last year was remarkable. Knowing that they did it on the day where J.J. Watt came back and they retired, put him in the Ring of Honor, and of course he got the better of his brother. And even though he wasn't playing, but just a remarkable game. So we'll see what's going to happen because the Steelers have their issues there. Russell Wilson with a high calf injury, and Tomlin is still sticking to the plan that Russell Wilson is going to be the quarterback, regardless of Justin Fields. So AJ, real quick question because did you follow any of the Chicago Bears and releasing Justin Fields and how the Steelers picked him up?
Oh
And
yeah, for sure. Because I was kind of on the like, I kind of thought that Chicago should have kept Justin Fields. Because I mean, now like, of course, as you see Caleb Williams, you can make the argument that he's walking into the best rookie situation of all time. Because you have they drafted
Mhm,
Roma Dunze, they have
mhm.
Keenan Allen, and then of course they have DJ Moore who they just extended. So I mean, I do feel like that Justin Fields could have done something with that, but I understand drafting Caleb because they passed on Patrick Mahomes in 2017. So trying to make up for that, Caleb Williams is viewed as a generational talent. So I understand that for Steelers, it's really a big deal though, because I mean, look, now Russell Wilson he's been hurt, and I mean Justin Fields has been getting all the first team reps. So I mean he's playing the most with them. He's getting chemistry while Russell Wilson is out right now. So I mean he could potentially be
He
named
could,
starting.
he
Yeah.
really could, and as far as Texans go, this game won't mean as much for the Texans. I don't know. Probably too early to say that we see C.J. Stroud out there or not. I don't know. I don't think we really need to. I don't. But when you look at you look at the quarterbacks that this team has, good lord, man, they are pretty deep. Having Davis Mills out there and having Case Keenum, no, but I think more pressure going into this first preseason game is going to be on Pittsburgh, knowing that they really need to look at these quarterbacks and who is going to be. You probably wouldn't have seen Russell Wilson out there regardless, but you might see Justin Fields out there next week. But should be interesting there as the Texans get ready to start this remarkable season here. Just overachieving last year, getting to the playoffs. And look, we're really going to talk about the AFC South a lot next week because I have my thoughts and opinions on where the Texans are going to be. I have my thoughts and opinions on the Jaguars. Look, I tell you what, if you're a Jaguars fan, Titans fan, or Colts fan, you're not going to like me or this show because I am going to wear you guys out this year. Okay, that's already given you my thoughts on who's going to take the AFC South, right? But no, we're going to have some fun because each and every time those guys play, we got some remarkable things coming up here on the Mean Gene Show. So if you like to have fun and not just watch your typical or listen to your typical sports talk show, we're going to bring a lot of uh, crazy things. Okay, so I'm really trying to get used to these cameras looking at me. All right, I feel like I'm in the interrogation room and I'm under investigation or something, but I haven't done anything. So I guess I gotta. Someone told me to smile.
The people just want to see you, Gene.
Well, yeah, this is something new for me. Okay? I got to get used to this stuff. Anyway, all right, but we're gonna stay on point here because look, I tell you what, the Hall of Fame. We're gonna later on here. We're gonna talk to my great friend Brian Diardo, CBSSports.com senior writer. Brian is a great friend of mine. He's one of the top writers at CBS Sports. Now he actually covers the AFC North, but man, he's all in on these Texans. And like I said, I met Brian over at the Hall of Fame in 2021. Remember the COVID year? No Hall of Fame, no Pro Football Hall of Fame, no Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. But they did pick the class for 2020. There was just no ceremony. So in 2021, they actually had what they call a centennial. They combined the 2021 class with the 2020 class. So there was some like 20 something Hall of Famers. It was remarkable. And that Hall of Fame class, me and Brian will talk about that. Peyton Manning, Steve Atwater, man, it was a great class. But my first Pro Football Hall of Fame experience was in 2013. And let me tell you that was look, I was like a kid in the candy store at Disney World, because I'd never been to a Pro Football Hall of Fame, and just I've watched these things over and over again on television. But look, that class right there included Larry Allen, the late Larry Allen, Dallas Cowboy. You're a Dallas Cowboy.
Yeah.
Just
He's a
crazy
legend.
that we lost Larry just
A couple months
a
ago.
couple of months
Yeah.
ago. Chris Carter was also in that class of 2013. So was Curly Cup. We also lost Curly Cup. Jonathan Ogden was part of that class. Bill Parcells, Dave Robinson, and Warren Sapp. And this was pre-COVID. So during that 2013 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, we got to get close up and personal with the Hall of Famers. They would sort of like what you see during Super Bowl week, how they put the guys in the booth and you just gather around them and you can, ask questions. So that's the way it was. They were all in this room, and the reporters, the media, we had access to these Hall of Famers, and man, let me tell you, I was nervous, purpose. And guess who else was nervous? One Larry Allen, because everyone was talking to all of these great people. Bill Parcells had a million people talking to him. Chris Carter, of course, so did Warren Sapp. So Larry Allen was the last one to walk in. So he's getting set up, and I'm near him, and he's just getting going. And I said, "Man, Larry Allen," I told him who I was and everything. He says, "I say, congratulations. This is a big honor. Welcome to the Hall of Fame." He said, "Thanks, man." I said, "Have you wrote your speech yet?" He said, "No, I haven't worked on that, and I'm going to be doing that tonight." And I said, "But these things get kind of emotional, Larry. So you're probably going to let a tear shed." He said, "Nah, I'll be okay." So Saturday night comes. Larry Allen comes on stage. He's got these thick black sunglasses on. You can tell he had been crying his ass off before he even got on stage. And that's what happens with these guys, man. That emotion probably just kicks in. But Larry Allen made me feel so comfortable during my first Pro Football Hall of Fame media coverage. And I do remember asking him too, AJ, you're like this one, because he was one of the best offensive linemen ever.
Right.
Could play every position.
Undoubtedly. I saw a clip, a highlight when he had chased someone down after an interception.
Yeah,
That was insane.
Big
He's a
Larry,
freak
Big
athlete.
Larry Allen chasing
hmm
someone down. Yeah.
hmm
So we talked about the fact that he was so multi-talented when it came to his offensive line abilities, and I said, "Man, did Jerry Jones pay you for playing all those positions?" He says, "Mean Gene, Jerry Jones paid me well." So that was good to know. That was just really good to know that this guy. But man, like I said, losing this guy, it was just incredible. So we sort of built, a little bond there. And I think I remember like maybe a week after the Hall of Fame ceremonies, um, he found me on Twitter and started following me. So I just thought, to be followed by a Hall of Famer. Look, I only had like 20 people following me at the time, and he was one of them. So
That's a blessing.
yeah, it's just crazy. But that was a great Hall of Fame, 2013, and of course Jonathan Ogden. I had a chance to meet him again after his. This was in Las Vegas at an Ickey Woods golf tournament. So man, that whole class. But Chris Carter, another one. Just Chris Carter and Warren Sapp. Those egos. Those were big egos,
I know legendary players though, but yeah, definitely.
big time going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So yeah, but anyway, I know when we come back from the break here, we're gonna get Brian Diardo in, and we're gonna get his thoughts on what we saw yesterday because it was another tear jerking, experience if you sat there and listened to all those speeches and heard all of those stories, um, all of that stuff. So it's just great stuff there. So anyway, make sure you stick around. But then again, of course, if you want to call and give me your thoughts on that too, I'd love to hear what you thought about the Pro Football Hall of Fame experience yesterday. 713-780-3776. And later on in the second hour, we're going to talk with Dustin Pfeiffer, my great friend Dustin Pfeiffer, Sports Kings, who uh, Julius Peppers, Carolina Panthers. We're going to talk about him as well. So, folks, hey, stick around. We are just getting going here. You listen to the Mean Gene Show, ESPN 975 Houston.
Now back to Mean Gene, broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios.
All right, folks, we are back. You know, I get caught in the music. You got to let me know when you're throwing these jams down, AJ, because yeah, this is great stuff here. So, okay, we're going to be waiting on Brian DiArdo from CBSSports.com. He's going to join us, and we are going to get into more of the 2024 Pro Football Hall of Fame. Look, so I would have been there yesterday at the ceremonies, but I did not want to start this first show here on ESPN 97.5 on the road. Yeah, because if you followed my shows before, you know, we do quite a bit of traveling. We do a lot of that here. So, but I thought it was very important to just sort of, you know, just hang in here, come here, make sure you heard me and you saw my face and all that great stuff here. And for this Hall of Fame weekend. So, look, I know we haven't talked much about Andre Johnson, but we will. I guarantee you we will because, like I said, this guy deserves his own segment for the most part. I really want to praise this guy for what he did for the Texans and just an all around great guy. Never had a chance to meet Andre Johnson, but I definitely look forward to it here. I know we're going to run into each other this year at one of these Texans games here. But anyway, um, we are going to get ready for as AJ is trying to get Brian on. But look here, I tell you what. Once again, make plans to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. All right, put it on your bucket list because I think been to a couple of Super Bowls, World Series, Final Fours. It's just nothing like the Pro Football Hall of Fame experience. And if you follow football for a long time, like me, then you certainly will see some of the most memorable moments ever in football history. They keep everything. everything. Once you go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you will see things, and it would just jog your memory right back to the day that it happened, right back to that moment. Oh yeah, I remember this game. Cleats, jerseys, socks, you name it. Everything is there for you to see, and including the room where all of the busts are located, where they always say that the guys are talking to each other at night. 378 of those things in there now. So anyway, I am. Are we ready? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and let me introduce this guy here. First of all, look, he's a great friend. Like I stated, I met him at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2021. Senior writer for CBSSports.com, Brian DiArdo. What's up, Brian? Okay. All right, we're gonna go back. We're gonna come back to Brian, see if we can get him back on here. But anyway, like I said, great guy. So he definitely will be able to provide some insights on just the experience that I'm trying to, share with you and paint for you. You have to go. You just really have to go. Put it on your bucket list to try to go to one of these events in your lifetime. It's a great thing. So now there's a high school that's really attached to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, McKinley High School. So over the years, they have made many cosmetic, you know, changes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I was told yesterday that the high school is going to be going away because I think the first time I went there in 2013, some of the interviews that we conducted were in the high school locker rooms. That's where I met the late Larry Allen and those guys. So anyway, that high school is going to be moving. They have poured a lot of money into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So that field has been changed. So now, like I said, with the high school, McKinley High School moving, wherever it's going to be moving to, the Pro Football Hall of Fame is going to be even bigger. So I can remember sharing a golf cart ride with the great Tony Dungy because I left something in my car, and they were so gracious, the staff and people over at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, that they uh, give me a ride to my car. And then on the way coming back, we picked up Tony Dungy. So how neat was that, right? So we sitting there riding in the golf cart on our way back to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So we're still working, trying to get Brian on here, but nevertheless, so it's just one of those great things. So, did you watch any of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and what did you think about it? What did you think about the speeches that you heard? Because they always are interesting. I can remember probably one of the most gut wrenching, speeches that I've heard was from Shannon Sharp when he went in a couple of years ago. It just, I mean, they all tend to hit home there, and the class of 2024 was no different. So we're going to try to get Brian DiArdo back on, CBS Sports senior manager, senior writer, and that's Brian DiArdo. Brian.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Hey, we doing great, Brian. We got you in, man. Hey, welcome to the show, Brian. It's so glad to I'm so glad to hear your voice.
Likewise, and hey, call me manager. I like that title. If it comes with more pay,
Hey,
I'll
is
take
that a
manager.
promotion?
I'm good with that.
I don't know what I was thinking about. Say, hey, I just gave you a promotion there, so you way above
Hey, yeah, I'll take it.
the writing. So hey, look, man, hey, it's our first show of the 2024 season here on ESPN Houston 97.5. So look, we're getting all this the preseason out the way, okay? We're only allowed to have so many hiccups in a show, and then we got to hit the ground running. We've been through this before, Brian, right?
Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah. Hey, you know what? It just as Mike Holland always says, man. You got it. We're on a moving train right now. So whatever hiccups we have, we're going to work through. But no, it's always good to be on with you. I can't believe it's. I was listening before I jumped on. The crazy. It's been 3 years since we met back in 21, and I'd like to echo what you said about the Hall of Fame. It really is a great experience, and not just to go to the ceremony. I went with my brother. I've gone to the Hall of Fame 2 or 3 times. I don't live very far from there, maybe 2 hours down the road, but I went with my brother-in-law like 3 years ago, and that experience was unique in that he takes his time, where I just zoom through everything and, let's look at this room, look at that room. if you go and you take the time to like read everything and go through every room, it's a completely different experience. So now I know if you go ceremony weekend, it's going to be a little bit more busy at the Hall of Fame, but it still is worth it. If you're going to go, just take in the entire trip, maximize your experience there, take a tour, or just go walk around by yourself. But it really is it's Disneyland for NFL fans is the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, that's the only way I can describe it too, man. And like I said, when we met during that Centennial Pro Football Hall of Fame, I mean, dude, we were just blessed to be surrounded by, what was it, like 22, 23 Hall of Famers that weekend?
It was, but I mean, my takeaway of it was three things. It was four. That, at one point it was raining and we were sitting outside, which was cool because you can sit in the press box or you can sit where we were sitting in front with the camera people, and I prefer that. That's just way more unique of an experience, right, than a big press box hundreds of feet in the air, unless it rains, which it did for a little bit, and I freaked out. But I also remember I think I actually literally met you when I was eating their chicken tenders and fries that were absolutely delicious. They were so good, and this is like pre-inflation. I want to say it cost me under $10, which was great back then. I think it was like $8 or something, which you couldn't do now. But I mean, speaking of people that we were around, I mean, you were in the same audience as Michael Jordan, so I was super jealous of that when I saw that he was there. I had a video of it, and I don't think NFL media did this on purpose, but they showed a video of MJ meeting some legends, and he met Marvin Harrison, actually said to him, "I've been trying to sign your son, but he signed with Nike." So apparently MJ was trying to get Harrison to join the Jordan brand, and Marvin Jr. said thanks, but no thanks. So there you go.
Get out of here, man. That's unbelievable. Folks, once again, we are talking with my great friend, CBS senior sports writer, Brian D'Ardo. And I tell you what, so look, that year, when I'm looking back at 2021, the great Pittsburgh Steeler, Alan Faneca, Tom Flores, Calvin Johnson, John Lynch, Peyton Manning, Bill Nunn, the writer, Drew Pearson, and Charles Woodson. So that was that was the 2021 class.
Yeah, it was a great class. And if you remember, we also saw the 2020 class that weekend because they didn't have the ceremony the previous year because of COVID. So not only did you have the 20-member Centennial class, you had, that was Saturday, I believe. Sunday, you had the 21 class. So it was just a smorgasbord of talent and great speeches. Paul Malu's literally, because he spoke that year as well, gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Jimmy Johnson's was really good. He kind of delved into his coaching philosophy, discussing the self-fulfilling prophecy: treat someone as they will remain; treat someone as they will be, they will become. And I love that. And that's a great approach. But looking at yesterday's speeches, I mean, I loved, obviously, Steve McMichael's sister gave a great speech. Randy Gradishar was just awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
a shame that he had to wait so long to get in. It was great to see Tom Jackson, right? The old ESPN person.
Yeah, we haven't seen Tom in a long time.
Right, yeah, and I think he was cool. Julius Pepper's speech was great. I kind of love how he said, like, you can, not everybody's going to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but you can be a Hall of Fame dad, Hall of Fame husband, Hall of Fame, whatever it is, right? Like, you are, Gene. You're a Hall of Famer in your craft. But I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. But, so, no, they were good. I mean, I actually wrote a story that came out this morning, if anybody wants to check it out on CBS. I actually wrote, though, yesterday's ceremony to me embodied what's good and not good about the Hall of Fame selection process. It was awesome to see Gradishar and McMichael make it, but it was long overdue, not to their fault. And I offered some suggestions to the Hall on how they could fix the selection process. Right now it's all writers. It's all writers. They should do what they did when they made the NFL 100th anniversary team in 19, which they had a blue ribbon panel which was comprised of former players, coaches, and front office people. And Bill Belichick was part of that. And I don't think anybody can complain about the all 100 team that they created. I mean, there's really almost no debating any of their selections. I mean, it's almost perfect, right? And so I just feel like they could do a much better. I think largely they get it right. You know what I mean? I think largely they do. but I think too many players are slipping through the cracks. And this is happening more in recent years. Guys are only making it because of they're campaigning for themselves, like Drew Pearson.
Yeah.
And I think for a long time, we've just been giving too much focus on the big markets. There's several, Bengals, Lamar Parrish, Ken Anderson that aren't in. There's a lot of good players. Joe Jacoby's still not in. One of the legendary Hogs. I mean, there's a lot of good players. I mean, there's way too many receivers to count that aren't in that should be in. So I do think that the Hall could do a little bit better, and I think that if they had a more diversified, and I think they should add a criteria. Like, a lot of these teams, like the Steelers now, their Hall of Honor, I mean, they have a criteria. And I think if they added those things, I think it would lead to a better selection process.
Okay. I tell you what, Brian, look here. I want you to stay with us because we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to continue breaking down the 2024 Pro Football Hall of Fame. You're listening to the Mean Gene Show right here, ESPN 97.5 Houston.
This is the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
All right, we are back here and almost about to wrap up the first hour. We get the first hour out the way, and then we are smoking, okay? But anyway, I still have my man on the phone, CBSSports.com senior writer and great friend of the Mean Gene Show, Brian DiArdo. Brian, you still with us?
Still here, Gene.
All right, so look here, man. I want to talk about these guys yesterday, Dwight Freeney, Randy Gradishar, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Steve McMichael, Julius Peppers, and Patrick Willis. So I'm going to start with Patrick Willis right quick. You know, just look, man, I tell you what, I know a lot of folks that are glad Patrick Willis is not on the football field anymore. And just to see him get what was rightfully his, that was just great. Great speech yesterday and all.
No, yeah, it was a great speech. I thought it was super cool that Mike Singletary put his jacket on him Saturday night. I mean, a great linebacker Singletary was, and started his, early in Willis's career. Singletary was his coach. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad he got in because I did not want to see him get further penalized for a relatively short career. But again, 8 years inside linebacker, almost 1,000 tackles. That's not a short career. I mean, and he did everything you could do in his career, with the exception of not winning a Super Bowl, which is a team sport, but got the Niners there. It was really kind of the face of the resurgence of the 49ers because, I mean, hey, no Super Bowls between 95 and 2011. And then, in his prime, the Niners go to 3 straight NFC title games. But yeah, I mean, he was not a big guy. I mean, 6'1", 242, but he seemed smaller than that for some reason. But no, he was phenomenal. And you knew right away his first season that this dude was different. I mean, I think he's the best linebacker in the NFL since Ray Lewis. And so no, I was very happy to see him get in as well.
Yeah, it was just like yesterday, watching this guy play out there on the football field. So let's talk about the great Steve McMichael. And, I tell you what, that was really tough to watch. And what his sister was able to do and give that speech, and you can tell he definitely had a hand in writing that. That sounded like Steve McMichael all the way. But, man, just, we like to think more about those glory days with the Bears at number 76 than, his condition now. But, man, it was just great that his wife, his family, and some of his players could be in that room watching him, unveil that bust and wear that jacket.
No, for sure. And I think one of the reasons why it took him so long to get in was, 3 Pro Bowls and an All-Pro. But I think as we get, I think for a long time we were only letting, I don't want to say the best of the best, but like no-brainer guys get into the Hall of Fame. And I think what the Centennial class did, it kind of opened things up for us to take another look and maybe look at players that maybe during their careers may not have been appreciated as much as they should have been. And I think McMichael fits that bill. And he was incredibly consistent, and he had at least 8 sacks every year, I think, from 83 to 88. Then he had 7.5 and 89. So, I mean, this dude was just – and then at age 35, he had 10 sacks, 10.5 sacks. So this guy was a motor his whole career. There aren't many guys, interior defensive linemen, that have more sacks than his 95. And he was kind of a set-the-table guy for his teammates, like Dan Hampton and that defensive line. And speaking of that defensive line, and I wrote this, I think the day before the induction ceremony, it was the day before. Now the 85 Bears defensive line is tied with the 71 Cowboys with the most Hall of Famers from one position group.
Wow.
The 71 Cowboys had 3 defensive backs that are now in the Hall of Fame. The Bears now with Dent, McMichael, and Hampton have 3 defensive linemen in the Hall of Fame. So, and no other position groups that have won a Super Bowl can say that. So the 85 Bears already a historic team. They have added another feather to their cap.
Yeah, that's amazing. It sort of remind me of, like you said, the Cowboys and even some of those Steelers teams that just, it's hard to put when you have that one remarkable season like they had in 85, that, you're going to see a large amount of those guys get in there and rightfully so. And I just like how they did it yesterday and incredible. Let's talk about another Chicago Bear real quick here, and that Devin Hester, which, I can't say, I guess at the time I couldn't see, that he would get into the Hall of Fame. Now, I love Devin Hester and what he did. I just didn't know that they would put him in there because he didn't, just didn't really play the wide out position. But man, what an incredible speech. And just, it's just always great to hear how those guys can go back and just account for everyone that made it possible for them to get to that moment.
Yeah, I agree. I loved his speech too. I thought all the speeches were really well done, and I love what he said when he said, I'm not, you know, the only deserving Hall of Fame special teams guy. I'm just the first.
Yeah.
And then I know he threw out Josh Cribbs, and maybe was it Brian? His last name eludes me now. Forever he played for Brian Westbrook. That's
Yep.
I think that's who he alluded to, but maybe I'm getting a different Brian wrong. But either way, I mean, he is a very deserving first special teams returner. And then you could even go with gunners though, like Steve Tasker, or even Jackie Slater's son who just retired with the Patriots. Those are guys that might be deserving, and that might get their due now. Because so we might look back at Hester and say that he was the trailblazer for special teams guys, non-kickers making the Hall of Fame. But I mean, he is. I don't know. I don't think you could argue that he's not the best returner of all time. He led the league in punt returns twice, punt returns for scores 3 times, kickoff return yardage twice, kickoff return touchdowns
In
twice,
the Super Bowl.
and and then the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I think my opinion, if you look at like the first like dazzling special teams guy, hey, this is from Houston, right? Billy White Shoes Johnson, way back in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
But and if you're going to go to like, if you say best season, it might be either Hester's 06 or Desmond Howard's 96. Best game is Howard in 96 in the Super Bowl, there's no doubt. But best returner ever, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I think that Hester rightfully is in the Hall of Fame. And I'm glad he didn't have to wait very long.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Gus to look like he can, get back there and return those kicks again there. So how about Andre Johnson? I'm going to talk a lot about him in the second hour, but I definitely wanted to get your thoughts because look, they run me out of town here if I don't mention. I have to mention Andre Johnson about 1,000 times because the guy, that's how much he meant to the city of Houston and this Texans team, and being the first one inducted from what was an expansion team in 2000. Incredible, and man, he said he was happy as hell to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I did some research on him, and I don't have the exact numbers now, but he is one of just a handful of guys all time with 1,000 catches and 14,000 yards. So, what quarterbacks did he have throwing him the ball? I mean, Schaub was fine.
Yeah.
He had his little run, but largely he didn't have, Tom Brady. Moss had Tom Brady for a while. Randall Cunningham at the beginning of his career. Hines Ward, who's not in the Hall of Fame, had Big Ben, and Jerry Rice had Young and Montana, 2 Hall of Famers. But, the fact that Johnson put up those numbers with, he was a Pro Bowler at the beginning of his career, near the end of his career, the middle of his career. There was almost no drop-off from this guy during his heyday. And then, obviously, he was awesome with the Hurricanes. So, no, he shouldn't. In my opinion, this guy was first ballot. So the fact he had to wait a few extra years wasn't necessarily right, but I'm glad that he ultimately still got in relatively young. He's in his early 40s, so I'm glad he got in young. He has many years to enjoy the honor.
Absolutely, and it's just and I know we only have about a minute left though, but it just the fact that you mentioned the word there, young, and we're seeing a lot of these guys come in younger. When we were there and in 2021, Calvin Johnson, we was like, whoa, these guys in their 30s, the White Freeney, these guys. So it's just it's different now for these guys getting in at an early age.
Yeah, no doubt, and I'm glad that they are. I'm glad that they've got time to enjoy it. And so that's hopefully more of these things can happen if the Hall of Fame, as I said earlier in your show, maybe changes some of the ways that they go about evaluating the process. But yeah, I'm glad that him and Dwight Freeney, some of the younger guys that just seems like yesterday, got their honor, got their gold jackets.
Okay, hey Brian, look, man, this is just the beginning. Okay, the listeners will get to know who Brian DiArdo is from CBSSports.com because, dude, we got football coming up here. The first preseason game, week 1 actually kicks off this week with the Texans here and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So thanks for coming on, and I look forward to getting you back on here for the 2024 NFL season.
Anytime, Mean Gene. Thank you. Great to be on with you again.
All right, folks, once again, our friend, and we're just getting started with this guy, CBS Sports senior writer Brian DiArdo joining us here on the Mean Gene Show. like I said, Brian covers the AFC North, but man, if you get a chance to go out there, CBSSports.com, read some of his articles. He is one of the best. So very uh, good that we were able to get him on. So we are almost done here with our number one here. And once again, look, I will take your calls in the second hour, especially if you want to talk a little bit more about Andre Johnson, the Houston Texans here, and I'm going to be looking at the upcoming not only preseason schedule for the Texans, but the schedule. I want to play around with the schedule a little bit because I want to build up some hype and just start something because that's what we're going to be doing this entire time, AJ. Folks are going to be so pissed at us by the time the football season's over because we're going to make some folks unhappy.
Probably so. I mean, just me being a Cowboys fan, it's already doing that.
Well,
for
yeah,
sure,
that
but-
started it off. Yeah, you're right about that. So anyway, folks, second hour of the Mean Gene Show is coming up here on 97.5 ESPN. All right, we are back for hour number 2 of the Mean Gene Show right here on 97.5 ESPN Radio Houston. So, look, hope you enjoyed the first hour. We just finished talking with my great friend from CBSSports.com, senior writer Brian DiArdo. And Brian will be a regular, folks, on this show each and every week because we will actually be your post-game show. All the games, just imagine, all the games would have been played on your typical regular Sunday season. And we get to come in here and talk about all of it. And believe me, we're going to be talking some mess. So, look, if you are a Texans fan, well, look, we're going to be talking great things, okay? But if you are a Colts fan, Jaguar fan, or a Titans fan, you're not going to like us because we hope that you lose every damn game you play. I'm just going to put it out there. We don't care nothing about you. There's no sense in lying. We don't. AJ, you just have to tell the truth sometimes. I know there might be some Titan fans, Colts, and Jaguar fans here in the Houston area, you know. But after this season, there won't be because we're gonna run them all out of here. So anyway, that's going to be fun. So we are looking forward to it. Not only will we, talk about the AFC South, all of the teams, because we do have transplants here. So we're going to talk about your Cowboys. How about them boys? So how many games do you think you guys are going to win this year?
I would people. Okay, I know they didn't make any really crazy moves. They only spent $9 million in free agency, but I think it's low key a good thing because everybody expected them not to do anything. I mean, which is good because everybody, you know how the fans be talking all that. So I do believe the Eagles should win the division because I don't know if you know, you probably know there hasn't been a repeat champion in the NFC East
Yeah, I
in
know.
20
That's
years.
weird. That's
Yeah,
really weird.
that is weird. So the Eagles should win, and we'll see what happens. Not everything that should happen in life does, but I think the Cowboys they can still win around
But
10.
the champion doesn't matter sometimes.
Exactly.
Either.
That's exactly
So wild cards, can win Super Bowl. So we
Exactly.
should see.
Exactly.
Look, I would tell you this, that I used to host a show in Dallas with two-time Super Bowl champion Jim Jeffcoat.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so Jeffcoat was my co-host.
Okay.
And it was
Awesome.
one of those shows we did at a sports bar every week. And he didn't know that I wasn't a Cowboys fan. He found out, and his 6'8", 300-pound self stood up and says, "What? What do you mean you ain't no Cowboys fan, Mean Gene?" I'm like, Jeffcoat, you don't sit your ass down. No, I mean he was a big guy. It was a fun moment that he realized that. But no, I have the ultimate respect for the Dallas Cowboys because look, you got to keep your enemies close, man. You just have to. And I cannot wait until the Texans play the Cowboys, which will be in Dallas.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to go to it. Yeah, most
Well,
definitely.
yeah, we're just gonna have to get there. Now, look, you're gonna have to have the Cowboy fans give you some tickets. We're not giving you any tickets, AJ. They won't be coming from the Texans. I can guarantee you that.
Hey, that's fine.
You have to, let me see if I can talk to some people in Dallas to hook you up.
There you
But
go.
we'll put you on the Texan sidelines, though.
Oh.
Put your Cowboy shirt. All right, folks. We are back at it again here, second hour of the Mean Gene Show. Look, I'm getting feedback here on so we're on Twitch, right? And we're also streaming live on YouTube. So I'm getting used to this camera thing, okay? So someone told me, look at the camera. Well, I ain't really got time to look at the damn camera because we got a show to do here. But anyway, just it's nice to know that folks are out there watching. So Andre Johnson, okay? Andre Johnson, a Hall of Famer, all 6'3", 229 pounds out of Miami. He was selected in the first round, third overall of the 2003 NFL draft by the Houston Texans. So he played 14 seasons in the league and with the Texans, and he also played with the Colts, believe it or not, and the Titans his last year. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. They drift away, but they come back home.
I forgot about the Titans.
Yeah. So he did. He did. Yeah, but nevertheless, he went in as a Texan. So we have a sound bite from Mr. Johnson as he accepted his Hall of Fame induction. We don't have that? Okay.
I don't think it's playing. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we do have a sound bite though we wanted you to hear. But look here, this incredible, just incredible because Andre Johnson was one of three players, along with Hall of Famers Calvin Johnson and Jerry Rice, to lead the National Football League in back-to-back years. And as far as having these, look here, his career stats: 1,062 catches for 14,185 yards and 70 touchdowns, and that was in 193 regular season games. Okay, so following his final season in 2014 with the Texans, he had dozens of team records, including career receiving yards, 13,591, career receptions, 1,012 in most seasons, and 10 leading the team in reception. So this guy, he was also the first player inducted into the Texans Ring of Honor, and that was back in 2017. And of course, now that Ring of Honor is growing and growing. Just incredible. 7 1,000-yard seasons. Okay, 7 Pro Bowls I didn't even mention, and those 70 touchdowns, 1,062 receptions. Man, if that don't have Hall of Fame written all over it, and just a big guy. I mean, you know what, AJ, I thought he could play tight end because he was a big wide receiver.
Oh yeah, for sure. Super versatile. I remember just watching him as a kid. I mean, he was obviously you can make the argument if he had a better quarterback around him, and he could have done more, which is scary. But yeah, he's definitely a legend, definitely an icon. Love what he brought to the Texans, and really, I mean, you can. I think so. I mean, some people may say J.J. Watt, but the greatest Texan of all time. I mean, in my opinion, so far.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. You know what? Look, we know that J.J. Watt is going to be going in, probably a first-time ballot Hall of Famer, and I did meant to talk about him with Brian DiArdo, but yeah, I mean, this is all about Andre Johnson, though, what he was able to do, and get in there. But yeah, we do know J.J. Watt is going to be in the Hall of Fame, along with his brother, who, whenever he decides not to continue playing. But yeah, just great stuff there. I mean, how could you not just enjoy watching that and to have your names up there with the likes of Calvin Johnson, Jerry Rice, who are both in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I was there to see Calvin Johnson get in. But man, great stuff. Just he was so humble. Like I said, I never met the guy. I look forward to meeting him this year. But just rightfully, I know the city of Houston had to be proud. If you're a Texans fan, you had to be proud to see your guy going in there. Got the franchise pretty much off to its start there, you know. And I do remember when they beat the Cowboys, their first season, man.
Oh, you talking about 2002? I mean,
Yeah,
that was a, like
that was
different.
crazy. Yeah, it was unreal. And I remember watching that game, the Texans, you know, and that was like, okay, yeah, we don't know how this other team is gonna do in in Texas, but man, that was a game that will always go down as one of the most remarkable football games in Texans. Well, I mean, we could say the playoffs last year, but you know, when you're an expansion team, the expectations are always low, especially when you're going up against America's team, which you know, when are y'all gonna drop that? When is?
I mean, the thing
Come on.
about it is though, regardless, people will talk about us. So either way, I mean, we're rent free in people's heads. I mean, so I.
Sometime during the season, I would tell you
Mhm.
where the America's team really came from.
Okay, yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't want to
Educate
get
me.
into it now because I want to wait till you guys are like 0-7.
That's okay. You think that's really gonna happen? Okay, we'll see.
I need you guys to be like 0-7 and just with no chance in hell. Dak didn't get his money,
Okay.
so he's like playing pitiful. No, Dak's
If,
gonna get
I'm
his
about to
money.
say if that's the case, if we start 0-7 then shoot, we might as well tank and then try to get someone like a Travis Hunter like next
Well,
year.
then you
and
can just get on the Texans
oh
wagon.
no, that's not
I,
happening.
I
I'm
mean, why
loyal.
not?
I'm
Look,
loyal.
look,
I'm loyal.
if I'm a Steelers fan
Mhm.
and I can, you know, accept, you know, the Texans. I'm okay with the Texans. I am going to. They don't play the Steelers this year, only in this preseason game. So that doesn't. Could they meet up in the AFC, you know, playoffs? Yeah, we don't know. We'll talk about that later. Right now, we talking about the Texans though.
That's true.
So, but you don't want no part of them.
Nah, I can't do it, and especially how some of because like I said, I have a lot of friends that are Texans fans. They just be talking about the Cowboys for no reason. So I mean, I can't just do that. That's nah. I got to be loyal in all situations in life. So that's just me. That's
Okay, I like that, and you should be if that's
right.
in all situations in life. Doggone it, you're a good man, AJ.
Thank you.
I don't care what they say about you here at the station. So look, you want to talk about Andre Johnson? Your thoughts on what he meant to you as a Texans fan? I'm open to talking about it if you want to. 713-780-3776. We haven't had our first caller on this show. That's going to be interesting. You know, I remember years ago, the first caller on my show just simply cursed me out, and that's all he had to say, and that was it. And I appreciated it because he called in. He waited on hold for, you know, and cursed me out. This was some years ago. Hopefully that won't happen here because, you know, look, it's all love here. Okay, we're getting ready for the football season next week. I can't wait. Before the end of this month, which is August, you would know. I'm going to tell you who's going to win every division, and I'm also going to tell you my picks as far as the AFC Championship game, and you know I just break this down, the NFC Championship game. So all of this stuff has to be done before the season actually kick off. So looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to getting into the AFC South, which is going to be interesting. Will the Texans repeat what they did in 2023? You know, when you bring on people like Danielle Hunter and Stephon Diggs, um, Danico Autry. I know he's going to be suspended there for a couple of games, but man, this team is not the same. So whatever scouting you did last year, you're just going to have to erase the board and start over. This team is stacked. The team is going to be, something to look forward to. So I know it, and look here, mark it on your calendar. I believe it's September 15th, the second game when the Chicago Bears are coming to town, which so Caleb Williams would be out there, and C.J. Stroud. So a lot of people are expecting the Bears to, or Caleb Williams to sort of duplicate what C.J. Stroud did. That doesn't happen all the time. What C.J. Stroud did last year was remarkable, and it just doesn't happen. And I tend to have a lot of praise for Ohio State quarterbacks compared to USC quarterbacks, and I love USC, but Caleb Williams was not a born and bred USC quarterback. He came from Oklahoma, so it's going to be interesting. But anyway, folks, when we come back, we are going to talk about another Pro Football Hall of Famer with my great friend Dustin Pfeiffer from Bally Sports Southeast. He'll be joining me next here on the Mean Gene Show right here, ESPN 97.5.
You're listening to The Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
for the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
All right, we are back here as we await our guest, another great friend of mine that's been doing the Sports King show with me for a very long time. We'll have him on here pretty soon. Dustin Pfeiffer covers the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte Hornets there for Bally Sports Southeast. We're going to talk about Julius Peppers, a guy who also got into the Pro Football Hall of Fame yesterday, and just, the gray hair is kicking in on Julius, but man, this guy still looks like he can go out there and just beat up some people. So cannot wait to talk about his road to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It went through Carolina, the Bears, and the Packers one season with the Green Bay Packers. So we'll get into that. You have okay. So let's go ahead and take the caller. Who do we have here on the Mean Gene Show? Are you there? Okay, so I'm not able to hit a caller. So you might have to call us back there. Sorry, I think we may have lost you. So I want to continue getting you ready for the start of the season there. So we got our caller now. Let's go ahead. Okay, who do we have on the line?
Mean Gene, it's Richie Rich from Tampa. How you been?
You know what, Rich? You're supposed to come on and say long time listener. First time caller. What's going on, Rich?
Long time. I hear you, man. I know. It's like the good days are back. Mean Gene. I'm ready to call my affiliate here in Tampa and say, Mean Gene's on in Houston. We need to get Mean Gene on here at ESPN Radio in Tampa.
Well, look, man, you know, when it came out to accepting the best deal, you know I love Tampa. You know I love that city, Rich, and man, anytime I can get down there and do what I can do, I'm always up to it. But man, we have an exciting young team here called the Texans, you know, who just happened to win the AFC South Championship last year. So I had to, and I live here, so I had to come home.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm surprised. You know, I thought the Texans, I was pretty excited about them a couple years ago. And then I thought maybe they would go a couple years and we wouldn't hear much from them. But yeah, they made a surprising turnaround. I think everybody was surprised what a great year they had this last year.
Yeah, and I tell you what, and speaking of last year, how about the game between the Texans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? That was one of the most incredible games of the season for this young team going up against Baker Mayfield.
I mean, Gene, you see, some things never.
Okay, I think we just lost Rich. That's okay. We try to get Rich back on before the end of the show. I know Rich. So and look, I can't wait to kind of recap next week. I get more into what the Texans did last year in 2023 because that Tampa Bay Buccaneers game and the Texans game, that was one of the craziest games. It was a high scoring game, shootout for the most part. But one of the defining moments for the Texans and how they actually sort of, you know, kind of let us know that they meant business and ended up in the playoffs. So we're waiting for Dustin Pfeiffer to come on and talk a little bit about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Give us a little bit about what's happening there in Carolina as well as with Bryce Young as he enters his second season as quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. But we definitely want to talk about Julius Peppers there. So AJ, let me know when you got Dustin on. Okay, so yeah, well, let's go ahead and bring him on. Dustin Pfeiffer, what's up, Dustin?
Hey, Mean Gene, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing great, man. We sitting here just kind of, you know, we're in our preseason mode here, Dustin. You remember our preseason modes there? You remember when we were in Vegas and we were on we thought we were on the air, but we did about a half-hour show, realized we wasn't talking to no damn body.
Yeah, it's not even preseason mode. It's training camp. It's those first practices.
Camp.
You got to get ready.
Right, because I haven't been on the air in a while here. We working out the kinks here. But, hey, first hour we had our friend Brian DiArdo on, and we were talking a little bit about, you know, the Pro Football Hall of Fame there, Dustin. I know me and you text back and forth this weekend here, man. What a ceremony, man. Those speeches always seems to kind of like hit you in the gut.
Yeah, every time you listen to them, no matter who's up there, they always have some memories. They always have some stories, something they want to talk about, something that you probably forgot that they did, something you didn't know about them. It's always good to hear these players talk about their personal lives, talk about their careers, and just the accomplishments that they had. And it's always a special weekend. And it's unfortunate that the game kind of got, you know, called short due to weather because that's part of the ceremony. But the bigger part is hearing these guys and their accomplishments and finally getting that recognition to get into the Hall of Fame.
Speaking of one of those guys, man, I knew as soon as you saw the list of the new enshrinees for 2024, and when you saw Julius Peppers' name on there, I know you, along with all the other Carolina faithfuls down there, just knew this was long awaited, and especially that he went in as a Panther probably meant a lot to the people there in Charlotte.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the impact that he made here in Charlotte. Let's not forget, going to UNC and Chapel Hill, going there. So already kind of a hometown kid, and to have him come to the Panthers. And if people don't remember, the Panthers took him, and really one of the reasons they took him is he was the guy to try to stop Michael Vick. If you remember back in the day, Michael Vick was terrorizing defenses, and to bring him in and to see those matchups of the athletic freak that he was on the defensive side of the ball, trying to go against somebody like Michael Vick. Those matchups were just incredible to watch, and then he just turned into one of the best pass rushers of all time. And obviously he left Carolina kind of in a weird way because the contract didn't work out. He said that he was ready to finally get out of North Carolina for a little bit because he went to college there, been there his whole entire life. But then he came back for a second stint to end his career with the Panthers, and I think that just kind of put the cherry on top of his career with the Panthers. And again, he's going to go down as one of the best pass rushers of all time, one of the best athletes we've ever seen play the defensive end position, and it's just an incredible career of what he was able to accomplish.
Yeah, 17-year career with 3 teams. The majority of that, like we said, with the Carolina Panthers. Even the Bears fans showed him a little bit of love there. The Bears wanted to claim, 3 players yesterday, right? But I think everyone knows where Julius Peppers belong. Look, let me give you some numbers here. I know you remember these because you covered many of his games. 159 and a half sacks, 52 forced fumbles, 9 Pro Bowls, 3 times All-Pro, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's going to go down as one of the best pass rushers of all time, and he's easily going to go down on the Mount Rushmore for the Carolina Panthers. I mean, if you talk about the best players all time for the Panthers, you're talking Julius Peppers, you're probably talking Luke Kuechly, Steve Smith. You may throw, Cam Newton in there, some guys like that. But again, Julius Peppers is going to be at the top of that list with Steve Smith. And again, you just look at the position he played, and you're used to defensive ends being these big guys who can get to the quarterback, but they're not really fast. They're not really, that back in the day. Now they definitely changed today, but back in the day, and he kind of changed that. And just seeing how he could take an interception or a fumble recovery and outrun receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, and take it all the way. It was just so much fun to watch him play and see how he kind of changed that position. And again, when you have, I think it was 159 and a half sacks, I think it's in the top 5 or 6 of all time. I mean, the guy, he just did it. No matter where he went, he always produced. And when he came back for that second stint, even on the back end of his career, he still had a double-digit sack season. And listen, this guy went out on top. He went out the right way, and it was good that he ended it in Carolina. Now he's a big part of the organization, and he will always go down as an all-time Panther favorite.
I know that's right, folks. Once again, we are talking with my longtime friend here, a member of the Sports Kings, which, by the way, now, Dustin, this is interesting here because as we get into the 2024 season, we're, here on the Mean Gene Show, we I'm doing post-game stuff, but me and you will be doing our weekly Sports Kings countdown show on our podcast, and that's something we've been doing now for 10 years or more or whatever. So that's going to be interesting. And also, Dustin is part of the Sports Kings Fantasy Football League, which we sucked last year, and so did Denny Sharma. Denny also sucked last year.
That's right. That's the most important part, is that Denny was not any good. And listen, we have to still do the pregame shows as well, because I got to make sure I keep you in check. I know those guys at ESPN Radio do as well, but I got to make sure somebody's calling you out on some of these crazy predictions.
Well, and there's going to be some crazy ones, but then again, I get to save myself on Sunday evenings by coming in and just talking about all the games. But look here, can you believe they stuck me with a producer that's a Cowboys fan? AJ
well,
got
you can't get
here.
away from him. You cannot get away from him no matter where you go.
And I'm afraid to have Denny call in because then he's going to find a friend, and I just can't. We can't have that. So,
but that's okay. When they collapse in January, Gene, that's when you have Denny call in, so they can have their little therapy session about why their team fell apart again at the end of the year.
I told him. I said, "Yeah, wait till they 0-7. I'm going to be feeling really good here." He says, "No, that's not going to happen." But anyway, we're gonna have fun. But yeah, me and Dustin, we have been doing this. I met Dustin in, good Lord, what was it, 2012? I'm lost there at Bank of America Stadium there as the Miami Dolphins and the Carolina Panthers are having a preseason game, and there's Dustin. Like, man, looked like he lost there. And he's been my friend ever since, man, and we've had a lot of fun doing this. But man, that Pro Football Hall of Fame was just incredible yesterday. But were you shocked, Dustin, that Julius Peppers don't always have a lot to say, but he hit it home when he said, you know, you don't have to be a Hall of Fame football player. You can be a Hall of Famer in whatever you do in life.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, Gene. That's kind of how he grew as his career went on. He was not an outspoken guy. He was not one that would talk to the media and be one of those leaders in front of the camera. He was always a behind the scenes type of guy. But as his career went on, he realized to open up more, kind of. And it wasn't that he was a bad guy. He's just not in the spotlight. He likes to be behind the scenes, and you just saw it at the end of his career how he was even more involved in the community, how he was more outspoken with the organization as a leader, as a captain, and again. You talked about the day we met you there. You know, those were just the good old days of the Panthers. It started with Julius Peppers back in that day, you know, when they went to the Super Bowl in 2003 against Tom Brady. Then it evolved to the Cam Newton days, which is where we met. And those were just some of the golden Panthers days when those guys were playing, especially Julius Peppers. And now that's, you know, honestly what the Panthers are trying to make steps towards to get back to a winner here in Carolina.
Yeah. Hey, Dustin, look, man, I appreciate you coming on here on this first show. Look, you're going to be a regular, as you always know. Cannot wait to get your thoughts on what Bryce Young and the Panthers are going to do this upcoming 2024 season.
Hey man, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking football this season, and I'm excited for the show there on ESPN Radio. And I know y'all got big things planned, so looking forward to coming back on.
All right, folks. Dustin Pfeiffer joining us here on the Mean Gene Show, 97.5 ESPN Houston. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Mean Gene Show
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
for the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Mean Gene.
All right, bottom of the hour here, and only 30 more minutes left to go here on this first Mean Gene Show, ESPN 97.5. I am he, and he is I, and my producer AJ. AJ, you doing okay over there?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Yeah.
Just working out.
I
yes,
haven't
sir.
upset you talking about the Cowboys.
Oh
I
nah,
hope.
I'm used to it.
I
That's,
tend to get under their skin.
nah, I'm numb
the
to that for the
fans.
most part now.
You good?
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
gonna be able to handle like 17 weeks of this?
Yeah, I'll be fine. Shoot,
Okay.
I've been handling 22 years of it now, so it's all good. It's all good.
All right. Hey, we moving right along here, folks. Last segment there, we were able to talk with our great friend, and that was Dustin Pfeiffer. Great guy who covers the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte Hornets there for Bally Sports Southeast. And cannot wait to get more insights on Bryce Young and exactly what his second year is going to look like. No way did he, expect he would have the year that he had. I don't think the Panthers, and Dustin would agree with me, gave him any help there. But at the same time, when you look at that draft and how the Texans chose C.J. Stroud and with the number one pick, the Panthers chose Bryce Young. I mean, look here, we all know who got the better of that selection there. But, I expect Bryce Young to have a better year, so we'll talk about that at some point. But look here, the Texans getting ready for their first official Week 1 NFL preseason game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to be at Acrisure Stadium up in Pittsburgh. So we will get more, of more look at the Texans. You saw Case Keenum. Nothing. You wasn't surprised by what he did, nor were you shocked at what Davis Mills did. So I think we don't know what's going to happen with C.J. Stroud. Will he see some action? Maybe if not this week, maybe later. It's just good knowing what he can do, what he has done, what he did do in 2023. So I'll be looking at that game mighty close. There's next Friday, the official, kickoff of Week 1 of the NFL preseason. So looking at this roster here for the Texans here, and this is interesting because Cam Akers now is part of this Rockets. I'm already thinking basketball. Part of this Texans team here, and that's interesting because Cam Akers actually been around the league there for the last couple of years there since he left Florida State. So been with the Rams, and so it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to look like there. We saw a little bit about what he did see the field on Thursday night. Of course, the Nico Autry we talked about, who is going to be suspended for the first couple of games of the year, which is okay. Do we have a caller? Okay. All right. Well, hey, I'm sorry. Like I'm just running my mouth here. Sure, Jacob. Let's talk about the Texans. What's going on, Jacob?
Going on, Mean Gene?
Hey, what's going on? We'll talk about the Texans. Well, you looking
Yes,
forward to
sir.
the season?
Yes, sir. Want to welcome to the city. You know what I'm saying? I know you from here and everything, but I want to know: do you think that they're going to be able to live up to the hype? I'm from Chicago. I've been living here 18 years, so I've been, and I actually worked down there. I've been in the locker room, well, not a locker room, but working and things of that nature, getting the field together and all that type of stuff. So I'm with them. Now, my thing is, they surprised everybody last year. Now they have film. Hopefully they do repeat and be the champions of that particular division. Now, Indianapolis, like the guys through the week, one of them he was talking about Richardson. You don't know Richardson is he's not a slouch either. I would like to see them win, and like I said, welcome to the city, and it's going to be good chopping up with you on Sundays, Mean Green.
Hey, yeah. Hey, thanks, Jacob, man.
Mean Gene, my man.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Jacob. Look, I tell you what, I do think I hear what you're saying. Will they be able to duplicate what they did? Yeah, there is film out there on C.J. Stroud now, and of course, but look, just like we said earlier on in the show, you can prepare for what you saw last year, but it ain't really the same team that you're getting this year. You're getting Cam Akers, an experienced running back. You're getting Stephon Diggs. You're getting, you're getting Danielle Hunter. I mean, you're getting some incredible players that are just, great. So, what they did last year. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be easier for C.J. Stroud because it's not. Because like you just mentioned, Jacob, over in Indianapolis, we didn't get to see Anthony Richardson as much, and I do think that's because this guy, I tell you what, he was giving it his all in the few games that he played. So who knows? We could have had two remarkable quarterbacks there, rookie quarterbacks in the AFC South. I think it's going to be interesting. I still think the Texans are going to win the division, and I don't want to get too deep into it because I know we got a couple of more weeks. Not that I need to see any more. I do want to see what the Indianapolis Colts and the Jaguars and the Titans are going to do in preseason. But the Titans, they lost a lot. And I don't know. I don't know what Will Levis is going to look like, or even if he's going to be the starter. He probably will be, but you never know. You got different coaches there and everything. So that's and then you get Trevor Lawrence, who signed that big contract, man. So I don't know. But the fact that look, the Texans are not scared of the Jaguars anymore. I mean, they showed that last year. What can you tell a team that went out there and just overachieved? Because it was like the future. The future is now. I think that was the motto last year, and it's just crazy when you see what they have actually put together. But and we going over this lineup here, just looking at some of the players that are going to be coming out there. The quarterback, Noah Brown. We're going to have Brown out there. I mean, Nico Collins and Tank Dell, who should be healthy and ready to go. I mean, look. DeMeco Ryans, and my take on this guy is that I remember when Mike Tomlin went to the Pittsburgh Steelers as a young coach, replacing Bill Cowher, who had already kind of left him with a unique team. So he comes in, he inherits Roethlisberger and some players, and he has immediate success. But just imagine what DeMeco Ryans did. Now, he played here as a player, so he was well received when he got here. But look what he did in his first year. And I went back and looked at the entire season of the Texans last year, and what he's doing with the team and the buy-in and all of that. I mean, he's in a better spot than Mike Tomlin was when he went to Pittsburgh, because Tomlin was unknown, unheard of, whereas DeMeco Ryans, this is home for him. He came in and then look what he did. Look what the management did for him. This guy, I hate to make comparisons, but damn, boy, he reminds me of Mike Tomlin in so many ways. And if he has anywhere near the success that Mike Tomlin has, then watch out for these Texans. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. AJ, I'm trying to make the case, man. I'm trying to make these people like you, just like Jacob. Jacob said he's going to give me a chance.
I'm going to be that one unique Cowboys fan that everyone likes. So that's what I'll be. Yeah, for sure.
So, hey, Jacob, I hope I answered that for you, man. And, hey, look, man, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the place to be. Look, I know the Texans, they're going to be playing most of their games early on in the day. Now, there are some Sunday night games that the Texans have coming up this year. And what the hell are we going to do in studio? Because I want to watch the damn game, too. So we're going to I have to talk to the bosses that be. Well, if I watch it on TV, then the folks are going to be watching me watching the game on TV. So we got to get this right here because but no, for the most part, they're going to play most of their games early in the day. So when you come here to join the Mean Gene Show on Sunday nights, we get to break it down. We're going to be talking about that. But we're also going to be talking about what the Titans did or didn't do. We got a segment that's going to be coming up here. So I'm just trying to get people prepared. You too, AJ. It's called What Had Happened Was. And this is when a team that is projected to win and win pretty big, they just get their asses whipped. So I got a comedian that I'm going to be working with too. We're going to have some fun with this. So who knows? Hopefully the Texans and the Steelers won't be on that list. So, but anyway, all the other teams.
Cowboys either.
No, there's only two teams that I'm going to remove from that list. Cowboys ain't one of them. But it's going to be fun, though, because, look, like that playoff game between the Packers, that would have been what had happened was segment. Because what had happened was, what's the quarterback in Green Bay?
You don't know Jordan Love?
Oh, yeah, you know, I just wanted you to say his name.
Man.
What he did.
Hey, he just got a bag too, though, so now it's time for him to play like that even more. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, you know, I tell you, we're going to talk about that because, like I said, we're going to break down every division, definitely starting with the AFC South, and I'm going to give you my thoughts. I don't know. A lot of money. You know, our friend Chris Canty on the ESPN network just thought that was a waste of money. Really didn't think that he deserved that money, and oh well, we'll find out here. But hey, let's come back. Let's wrap up the show here, folks. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna wrap it all up here in the first show here on a Sunday. You listen to the Mean Gene Show on 97.5 ESPN.
Now back to Mean Gene, broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios.
All right, we are back here, about to wrap it up. The 2 hours go by so fast, and look, you know, we're working out some kinks here because, you know, first I gotta get with my makeup crew. You know, I'm just getting all this feedback here. You know, it's just so much to focus on here, you know, with these cameras here. And I know, you know, AJ, they can see you too, right? So they see you wearing that U of H shirt.
Yes, sir.
Are you actually going to wear a Cowboys jersey in here on Sunday?
I haven't thought about doing that. I mean, I wear
because I want a dress code policy.
You want a dress code? I don't like. I wear stuff sometimes. I'm not like one of those flamboyant Cowboys fans, but I mean,
right, okay.
Since you said something, I could wear like a shirt.
Security when you come in. Because I got to take care of you, my man. Yeah, we got to get you right here. So, hey, me and AJ, we look. First time we worked together. This is great, folks. The Mean Gene Show here, 97.5 Houston. Look, we are going to have a wonderful year. Okay, so we're starting out the 1st of August here, first week of August, and, we get to work out the preseason stuff. But, man, come September 5th, so look, that Thursday night game between the Chiefs and the Ravens that kicks off the season, and then by that Sunday, week 1, I would be in rare form come week 1. It's coming in here Sunday night talking about everything that happened, including the kickoff game between the Ravens and the Chiefs. So you think the Chiefs are three-peat? You think there's a chance?
Oh, there's definitely a chance. I mean, you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes at this point. I mean, what we've seen, no one thought that team last year was going to win. I mean, the weapons were inept, a lot of drop passes, and they still ended up winning in Baltimore. Baltimore should have made the Super Bowl. You can make the argument, but
yeah, Baltimore,
right?
Yeah.
They strayed away from their run game.
What a way to start the season! And,
exactly.
Yeah. So, and that's a new team too with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Man, I can't wait to get into this. So make sure you jump in next week. We're going to get deeper and deeper and deeper. Talk about some of the preseason games that would have taken place prior to me coming on the air Sunday night. And of course, now throughout the regular season, we'll be doing a podcast, the Sports Kings podcast with Dustin Pfeiffer and Denny Sharman and Downtown Wayne Brown. So we will be, doing our countdown show. And so we, get to tell you what we think is going to happen. And then we come back here. So, if I'm wrong on my predictions, I never have to really address it come Sunday night. It's all about the action that took place. You see how I kind of work that? It's just I don't have to own any of my picks.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, unless I remember them, I might bring it up.
Well, yeah, we look here, but hey, so we're gonna have some fun with that. So look, trying to keep up with the Olympics now. I just got like this alert that the United States now have 19 gold medals, 71 in all. So we have 19 gold medals, 26 silver, 26 bronze. So that wasn't the case before I come on the air. Now the People's Republic of China, they have also 19 gold medals, but only 45 overall. I just don't ever remember the People's Republic of China doing so well in the Summer Olympics. I don't know what's going on there, but even France, who just usually suck in all Olympics, they are in third place with 12 gold medals, 14 silver, 18 bronze, 44 overall. I think they're getting a little bit of home cooking because I see some of the like when you watch France play and the basketball game the other day. I can't remember the team that should have beat them, but they ended up winning in overtime.
Right.
But I mean that team is pretty stacked with Rudy Gobert
and Wemby,
and Batum and Wemby. But so I don't know what took place today to really, because I'm not going to go deep into this, but I just know that right now the United States lead all medals, 19 gold, 71 total. So the U.S. men's team, which got off to a rocky start, of course, before during the exhibition games, they're on point now. Okay, I think that's Sudan. Sudan, that was supposed to have been a 29-point whipping. It wasn't. They actually played a little bit better. That team had some NBA players, but it seems like the U.S. team is getting together, and Steve Kerr is finding – it's just tough when you got that many all-stars.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
To find the right fit, and then you just cannot have a 40-year-old LeBron James wearing himself out because these guys do have to play for their teams, later on in the year. And what did you think about the controversy with Jason Tatum just not?
Oh yeah, I didn't. He ended up starting him the next game. They played South Sudan again. They won by 17. But yeah, that's bad. Like Tatum, I mean, he's received a lot of hate. I mean, I guess like some stuff. If you look on social media, some people think he's corny, but honestly, like he's a really good player, a top 7 to 10 player, I would say, in the league. There's no way he shouldn't be benched. Like that makes no sense. I know you have Derek White, who's on the team, really good guard, especially
defensive. Derek White even made the damn team.
Yeah, because Kawhi, they took him off. I guess they just wanted more defensive versatility.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, there's no excuse for that. I mean, Steve Kerr said he felt like an idiot. I mean, what's new? I mean, you have to play Jason Tatum. Like that's really disrespectful and embarrassing. But I mean, he started the next game.
There's only one thing worse than being a Cowboys fan.
Oh Lord.
And that's the Celtics.
I have some friends and family that are Celtics fans too, but yeah.
So look, I don't know. I think he made the case that look, some of the matchups with Serbia was just not. He's a small guy. Serbia, they don't have small guys. So I understand him for making the case, but when they were up by 26, then it really doesn't matter. You get them in, but look, those type of players, your regular players that don't play with 2 minutes, you can put them out there. But when you go to a $315 million player and say, "Will you go in now?" He's like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?" No, but anyway, so this team is going to be okay. Kevin Durant, the team is gelling. You're trying to get all these guys to get it together in a short manner of time. And look, and I know some people, and I've been reading a lot of social media reports there. Folks are still kind of feeling salty that we're sending our professionals over to play in the Olympics. But if you don't recall, some of you may not be old enough to remember when the college kids did play in the Olympics, especially basketball, the women's and the men's, they were getting beat by the professionals from those other countries because they always put their professionals in there. So, and it's not, with every sport it's like that, but basketball was one of those sports where every other country had their professionals, and we were sending college players. And at the time, we had some pretty good damn college players.
Didn't Jordan play in one, I believe?
Yeah,
He's in college,
yeah, and as a professional though too. So it's yeah. I mean, I don't feel bad about that. I mean, look, and I know these guys are, are they staying at the Olympic Village? Probably not. These guys, when you look at all of those players on this U.S. Men's basketball team, that's $1 billion, maybe $2 billion worth of players you have out there. They're not staying at no Olympic Village with a bunch of folks that, and the same thing with the women. We have to send our best of the best when it comes to basketball. There's just no reason why the United States should ever get anything less than gold in U.S. Basketball Olympic play, and the women. Now, the women started out with a little controversy, too, because there was a couple of players that people felt should have been on there that were not on there, but I'm okay with the roster that they did put together. And so I think the women's, they beat, was it Germany today? I think they beat Germany, and I think they're in a good position to be at the top of their bracket and compete for a gold. I don't think we should. Look, it would be breaking news if the U.S. women's basketball team lost and the men's, if they didn't bring home the gold. It would just be a major embarrassment, but it's not gonna happen. It's gonna be great. But there is a new sport out there that I caught myself watching, AJ, and it's this cross kayak cross where you're in this kayak and they dump you into this white water, and you got to go through. It's interesting. So you have to go through these obstacles, and when you get to this little bar, you have to actually do a 360. So you have to flip the kayak over. You're underwater, and then you have to come back and land. It's incredible.
That is intriguing. That sounds like a fun watch, though, for sure.
I've never seen it. I think it is the first time. So I'm not really a fan of the 3-on-3 basketball, which is just kind of like watching paint dry.
And USA got eliminated today too, by the way, in that.
Yeah, I understand the Ice Cube. The Ice Cube 3-on-3, but that's important because of who it was. A lot of players that still got game that left the game, but I don't know if it should be an Olympic sport. I don't know how they picked the players that they chose, and to be losing, I don't know. It's just, it's crazy. But anyway, it's been a great show. I think we're going to come back and do it again.
Oh, absolutely.
Next week.
Okay.
Hopefully, we're going to take a look at the AFC South standings. I cannot wait to do that. I cannot wait to get just a little bit more into the preseason here. So look, watch the preseason, okay? Oh, and in a couple of weeks, we are going to do the Sports Kings fantasy football draft live here. Going to do it during the show.
Okay.
Okay, so it's, I need to make myself even more busy doing the show, which is fine because this is what we do here. So anyway, we did this in Las Vegas last year. We did the the Sports Kings Fantasy Football. This is the one that Dustin, the guy who called in earlier from Belly Sports, and Denny Sherman, who you will be talking to at some point in time. That's your Cowboy friend there. That's the only friend you're going to have this whole year.
Hey, that's fine.
All right. So we're all in this fantasy football league. So we're gonna, and I will be prepping you also, like for whatever fantasy football league you're gonna be in. So I will talk about players that you should be drafting, and that'll probably be in the next couple of weeks. So just kind of stick around here. But this has been fun here, and we'll come back next Sunday. Mark it on your calendar. Put it wherever you need to remember. 7 o'clock Central Time, Sunday nights in Houston. Is going to be the Mean Gene Show right here. My man AJ will be back here. Hopefully you enjoyed this show and enjoy the week. We'll see you back here on the Mean Gene Show, ESPN 97.5.